Prison riots are a unique situation. It's hard to take a look at one at quick glance and place blame on the right people. Perhaps there are no justified parties in some of these stories, but of course, they're always worth taking a look at. To analyze what went wrong and the unjust tragedies that occurred, whether they were to those incarcerated or not. Bad practices and out-of-control prison inmates go head-to-head. Let's talk about what happened at the Carandiru riot. Carandiru Penitentiary was built in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 1920 by Samuel das Neves to meet all demands of the 1890 Criminal Code. During the height of its use, it could house over 8,000 inmates, with only 1,000 officers to control them. The building was never meant to hold more than 4,000 inmates, so by the end of the 20th century, overcrowding was such a big problem that inmates typically lived by their own rules, as they could easily overpower the guards on duty. It was supposed to be the model of criminal rehabilitation, but it was quickly becoming anything but. Conditions inside the walls were truly horrific. Gang culture ran rampant throughout the crowds. Malnutrition was commonplace, and with minimal medical staff, disease and injury was out of control. The incident in question occurred on Friday, October 7th, 1992. Around 1:30 p.m., two groups of prisoners got into a fight over a game of football. We all know what can happen when football fans get brought together. Well, here the fight escalated into a full-on prison riot that lasted 3 hours. How's that for fandom? The riot consisted of 2,069 prisoners versus 15 guards. Prisoners were being reported stabbing each other with knives and hitting each other with metal pipes, as well as burning mattresses. It's easy to have weapons when there's not enough guards to control the population. Around 2:15 p.m., prison director Dr. Jose Ismael Pedrosa informed the Sao Paulo military of the situation. 15 minutes later, the military was given full control of the situation, and this is where things get horrific. The director wanted to negotiate with prisoners over a megaphone, but was refrained from doing so by his staff since the military was now in full control. 300 police stormed the prison and began taking down prisoners, stripping them, locking them in their cells, and shooting them. Even those who weren't voluntarily taking part in the riot and/or surrendering inmates were shown no mercy. Those who survived said the police didn't hold back killing those who were genuinely hiding in their cells. Keep in mind also that this was a detention center, not a penitentiary at the time. These inmates had not been tried or convicted. Autopsies shown that each inmate was riddled with an average of 5 bullets, all about their head, neck, and chest. Some of them had defensive wounds on their hands as they tried futilely to shield themselves from the barrage of bullets. Some inmates were found with their hands behind their head, indicating that they were harmlessly standing with their hands up when they were killed. It was truly a massacre, with the police on the wrong here. In the end, 111 prisoners were killed, 37 were injured. No officers were harmed that day. The trial of this crime was split into 4 stages, one for each floor of the prison. Justice for this tragedy has been slow, as in April of 2013, 23 officers were sentenced 156 years for killing 13 prisoners. August 2013, another 25 were given 624 years for killing 52 inmates. And in 2014, 10 more were sentenced to 90 years for the death of 8 prisoners. Sentences that exceed well beyond the normal sentencing in Brazil. This was due to the pure outrage of the public. Ironically, the officer who led them was found guilty for excessive force, but acquitted later that year. Prison culture has also responded to this event. One of Brazil's most infamous gangs was formed in 1993 as a result, said to protect against the police. Survivors of the massacre joined up with various gangs in search for protection, wounded huddling together for safety. On December 8, 2002, the prison was finally demolished after years of pressure. A park stands there now, but the world will never forget the nightmare that occurred that day. It's easy to look at a situation from the outside and say no one was in the right here. They were prisoners. They were in the wrong in the first place just to be there. But some of these people were surrendering. Some were defenseless. They were caged up and shot down without discrimination. No trial, no judge, no jury. This wasn't a riot that needed to be brought under control. It was simply an assassination. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's a case that was requested and I think deserves some discussion. Prison is supposed to be a place of rehabilitation. In an ideal world, it's where the lawless go to learn how to function in society and make something of themselves. More often than not in these stories, the living conditions are abysmal, and it's where prisoners go to live out their lives, learning nothing and gaining nothing. Thanks for watching. For more true crime and horror, please consider subscribing. Game with me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and as always, be well.